All right, so this is going to be part 3 of my NFL mock draft. We're heading into it. Pick 22, we're going to finish all the way up to pick 31. Again, the Dolphins do not have a pick. That's why there's 31 picks in the NFL draft. Their pick was taken away from tampering due to the fact that they tried to get Tom Brady and Sean Payton to team up with each other last year for the Miami Dolphins. So with pick number 22, the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock, and I have them selecting cornerback Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State University. His father played in the NFL, so we're seeing a second generational talent heading into the NFL. The Ravens need another cornerback to play alongside Marlon Humphrey. Right now, Marcus Peters is currently an NFL free agent. We don't know if he's coming back to the Baltimore Ravens or not. But I do believe that Joey Porter Jr. would be a great fit to play alongside Marlon Humphrey and to play with this talented Baltimore defense. They have a lot of playmakers on that defensive side of the ball. I believe that Joey Porter Jr. would bring a lot of excitement, especially in the secondary, to this Baltimore Ravens defense. He's a fast corner. He's good in man coverage, and he's good tackler in open space. That's everything you want in a cornerback, especially heading into that's trying to be drafted in the NFL. I like his tape, and I like the selection for the Baltimore Ravens at 22. At pick number 23, we have the Minnesota Vikings. I have them selecting Quentin Johnson, wide receiver from TCU. I do believe this will be the right pick for the Minnesota Vikings. I've heard the discussion that they want to draft a quarterback. Unfortunately, in my mock draft, the top 5 guys, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, and Hendon Hooker have all been selected in my mock draft. Therefore, I'm going with their replacement wide receiver, which this would be the guy to replace Adam Thielen, who was released by the Minnesota Vikings and is now a part of the Carolina Panthers. Quentin Johnson is a big, strong wide receiver that can make plays. But the reason why I have him slipping in my mock draft and the reason why I don't believe he's the best wide receiver in this draft class is due to the fact that he does not have dependable hands. Last year, as a top as a top guy at his position, he had 7 to 8 drops. That's something you don't want to see on film. Looking to get another wide receiver, add another wide receiver to your draft room, and someone with the hype of Quentin Johnson having those drops and looking at that on film is the reason why he's dropping in my mock draft. I have him going 23 overall to the Vikings. Pick number 24, the Jaguars are on the clock, and they're going to get a home run hit here. I have them selecting Brian Branch, safety from Alabama. This would be a steal, a home run hit for the Jacksonville Jaguars. If come draft night, Brian Branch is still on the board for them when they pick 24th overall. I do believe this is gonna be the steal, one of the steals of the first round, with Brian Branch sliding to the end of the first round, being a late first round pick. But the Jaguars need a defensive back that can be a difference maker for them ASAP. Last season at Miami, Brian Branch as a safety, he had 3 sacks and had 2 picks and had 7 pass deflections. He's definitely one of the best defensive backs, and he was definitely one of the best defensive backs in the country last season. Definitely one of the best defensive backs in this draft, and I think the Jaguars are going to get a steal with him at pick 24. At pick number 25, I have the New York Giants on the clock. I have them selecting Zay Flowers, wide receiver from Boston College. This really wouldn't be a bad idea for the Giants to go wide receiver here for 25th overall. I'm not really in love with their wide receiver class. They do have some their wide receiver room. They do have some talent there, but I'm not really sold on that to be a difference for the New York Giants again next season. I do believe that they need some work there. Why not take Zay Flowers with the 25th overall pick if he's still on the board? But Zay Flowers definitely, from the tape that I've seen of him, the draft comparison to me that comes to mind is Percy Harvin. He's definitely a speedy guy that you can line up in the backfield that is labeled as a wide receiver, just like Percy Harvin was. But if you want to run some jet sweeps, line him up in the backfield, you can certainly do that with the intangibles that Zay Flowers brings to the table. He's speedy. He's a great playmaker. Definitely someone that you want to have the ball in their hands in yardage situations. Definitely a yak guy, yards after catch player. And you also, with the speed that Zay Flowers possesses, you could truly line him up in the as a punt returner as well. Definitely could be a threat for the Giants as a special returner. I like the pick for them 25 here. And my boys, the Dallas Cowboys, are on the clock at pick 26. And man, would I be a happy man if this guy is still there? But in my mock draft, I have them selecting Michael Mayer, tight end from the University of Notre Dame. Y'all watching the video? Y'all can see me licking my lips with my tongue. I will be chopping at the bit and Michael Mayer is still on the board come draft night. And I see the Dallas Cowboys about to turn their card in. They should run to the podium ASAP. Pick number 26 is right there. Michael Mayer is still on the clock. No ands, ifs, or doubts about that. That is the best player that's left on the board. And that's what you do if you're the Dallas Cowboys. You basically don't have much holes on this team. Go ahead and draft the best player available. And I do believe that's Michael Mayer at pick number 26. Watching him this past this past college season and going back and watching the tape on him, he reminds me of a baby Gronk, man. I'm not hyping him up because I want the Cowboys to pick him, but he to me is hands down the best tight end in this draft. He is a difference maker. I call him Baby Gronk. He can block. He can create separation from safeties that's covering him in coverage. And he's a big yak guy, yards after catch tight end, just like Baby Gronk was. Give him the ball in a short yardage situation. He could turn a 5-yard play into a 10, 15-yard play. I like Michael Mayer a lot. Cowboys take him at pick 26 for me. And then we move to pick 27. The Buffalo Bills are on the clock. I have them selecting Darnell Wright, offensive lineman from Tennessee. I do believe that the Bills need to address their offensive line. That was the downfall of this team last year, especially in the second half of the season. And it showed last year in their playoff game against the Cincinnati Bengals. They gave up a sack, but Josh Allen was taking a lot of punishment in that divisional round game. He was hit. The Cincinnati Bengals racked up 8 quarterback hits on Josh Allen in that game. The offensive line did not protect Josh Allen well in that game, and that concerned me. With that being said, all the key players in my mock draft that are expected to go in the first round have been taken off the board. With the Bills selecting at this pick, I do believe it's a safe bet to get an offensive lineman. I do believe that Darnell Wright would be the right selection for them at 27 overall. He's a monster, though. He stands at 6'5". He's 333 pounds. He has the size. He has the strength. And he fits the bill to be a good offensive lineman in the NFL. I do believe this is the right pick for the Buffalo Bills at pick 27. Pick 28, I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback from Mississippi State University. The Cincinnati Bengals are in dire need of any defensive back right now after they lost both of their starting safeties, Von Bell and Jesse Bates, during the start of NFL free agency. Actually, in the same day, they lost both of them. So the Bengals definitely need some defensive back help. Cornerback position looks thin right now. Outside Chidobe Awuzie. They definitely need somebody to be his tag team partner out there on the field. Definitely, I do believe that Emmanuel Forbes can be that guy for them. I do believe he's a special talent. Definitely would be the right pick for the Bengals at pick 28. At pick number 29, I have the Saints selecting Mazi Smith, defensive tackle from Michigan. He was a working project for Michigan. Took him a few years to be a good defensive tackle and did not become a starter for the Wolverines until last season. Last season, it was his coming out party, being the first year that he was a starter. He had 48 tackles. He had 2.5 tackles for loss, and a forced fumble. I do believe he's a project to mold. I do believe it's going to take some time for him to get his feet wet in the NFL. But I do believe this pick can pay off if he is coached up the right way. I like the pick for the Saints at pick number 29. And the final 2 picks, I have the Eagles with their second first-round selection. I do have them selecting Will McDonald, edge rusher from Iowa State. And then the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, with pick number 31. I have them selecting Felix Odawick. If I said his last name wrong, I apologize. But Uzama, edge rusher from Kansas State. But that's my 2023 NFL mock draft for you guys. Had some spicy selections in there. Had to switch things up to see how things were going to go. I only got 2 picks right last year. Definitely got to change things around to get more than just 2 picks right in the first round of a mock draft. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. There's your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.